picked up this lawnmower on the side of the road, so it's a freebie. Wheels are worn on it. It'll start up and then die. It's complete and it's in decent shape. So what we're going to do is see if we can get it running, put it in a garage sale, and make some money on it. So I think I might can get 20, I'll probably put $40 on it and take 20 for it. So let's see if we can get some free money. We'll clean it up a little bit. I'm sure the carburetor is just plugged up, so, and it probably has some nasty gas in it. So I'll set y'all up and we'll see. No, there's no gas in it. So I think I'll just go ahead. We won't even put any gas in it. Since I have tried it before and it just start up and die, we'll go ahead and just pull the carburetor off and clean it out, and then put it back together, put some fresh gas in it, and crank it up. So fairly certain it's just got trash in the carburetor. It did have some old nasty looking gas in it when I picked it up off the curb. I guess it's evaporated out by now. I've had this thing sitting here for a few months, just because I haven't had time to work on it. But fresh start. Well, it had old gas in it, so that fresh start deal doesn't work too well. So let's get the carburetor off and we'll see what it looks like inside. We'll start off by taking the air cleaner off, just that little screw on the side. Right there. Air filter looks pretty grungy. What we'll do is just blow that out. The air compressor, like I said, we're not going to spend any money on this thing. And so we've got two 8mm bolts right here. So we'll take those out. Oh, and there's one right there too. We'll take all those out. And then this cover will come off. And we may have to take this screw out right here. Looks like we will. Let me get this stuff off. So that piece just stayed attached, and we're down to the carburetor here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take the carburetor off. I decide if I want to take it off or just leave it on. So we may just pull the bowl first and see what it looks like inside. I'm going to go ahead and take this nut off the bottom, and we'll see what the carburetor looks like. Well, there's why it won't run. Look at that. All that junk. Lots of corrosion. It looks like some water has been in there. So we're going to have to go ahead and pull the carburetor off. There's no way we'll be able to do it on here. Bowl itself doesn't look that bad. It's just got tons of junk there. So, yeah, we might have to do a new washer there. I'll probably have one. I can make one. And that could be plugged up too. Alright, so let's undo these two bolts that hold the carburetor on, or two right here, and get it off. Carburetor's off. Had to take this off here, and then of course take this linkage off, and then there was a spring that when I undid it, it kind of shot back in there. I got the governor spring. I'm gonna have to fish that back out of there, or take the cover off and pull it out. I think there's only a couple screws that hold this cover on, because there's another part of the cover under it. I think if I get this one off, I can get to that spring. Carburetor looks pretty bad. So we'll take this pin out here, get the float off, get the needle and seat out, or get the needle out. And then we're going to start trying to spray this, clean it up, clean out these passages here, get a piece of wire and try to get down in there and get those cleared up. And I think we can get this thing cleaned up and working. I don't think it's too far gone. And this gasket looks like it was salvageable, and this O-ring here looks good. I'll just have to come up with a gasket for this nut. So I had to take the cover off to get that little spring out. So that'll allow us to kind of clean all this stuff up, just kind of make it look a little better. And no mouse nest, no nothing like that, no grass. So it would have been fine, but I'll just go ahead and blow it out. And you can tell it's been sitting outside for a while. But other than that, it looks good. So we'll clean that up. And while this is soaking, I'm trying to get that cleaned up a little bit. And while that's cleaning, we'll clean this up a little bit. Got that kind of blown out. So here's what the carburetor looks like. I use that little wire brush and tried to clean this up as much as possible. You know, it's just not going to come much cleaner than that. But got the passages cleared out. There's that little passage right here, right there. It just goes and bottoms out, so I don't know if it doesn't go to anything or if it combines in with one of the other passages or something. Well, no, it doesn't. And I can get my nozzle on there of my brake cleaner, and it gets a tight fit, and it pressures up, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't leak out anywhere. So it's either plugged up completely, or it's just a passageway that doesn't go anywhere. I can't find any hole. Every hole that I've found, you know, I can blow through it and it comes out somewhere else. So I'm thinking that that's something else. Like I said, I've run this wire through it, and I can't get anywhere. You know, it doesn't go anywhere. And it bottoms out hard. You know, it's not like it's like it just hits a spot in the carburetor where it just, I don't know. Cleaned out this. It's got the hole on the end and then two on the sides. That's cleaned up the float and the needle and the bowl. So we're ready to reassemble the carburetor. And I probably won't worry about cleaning up the outside. I'm running low on brake cleaner, and I'll save some of it to clean up the mower itself. All this is hidden under the shroud anyway, and so you don't even see it. So we'll get the carburetor put back together, get it back on there, and also make sure that the float is sealing, and get it all back together. Carburetor's back together. Made a cardboard gasket. It's the same as a paper gasket, which is what was on it. And just cut a round circle in it, and then I left it a little bigger than the old gasket just to make sure it didn't rip or something when I was tightening it down. So let's put this carburetor back on it. And I was able to test the float, held the carburetor upside down so that the float was down, and blew on it. No air would get past, lifted the float up just a little bit, and of course then I could blow through it, then let go of the float to let it go back down, and it sealed off again. So the needle and seat are working. So let me just bolt this back up in there. I'm going to go ahead and just bolt it in there now before I put the shroud back on there, just because it's a little easier to get to everything with that off, and then I'll put the shroud back on. Alright, carburetor's hooked back up, spring and everything. They actually had this spring down here, so somebody's been in here before. It should go up here, so that's hooked up. And we'll get the shroud back on. I need to hook the gas line back up, and then we will put some gas in it, and we'll see how it starts up and runs. If it runs good, then we'll clean it up.